You're watching Peace Country Presents on CJDC TV.
The cool thing about the open mic is you never know who's going to show up. And today we have the Ramblers, one of Fort St. John's hardest working bands.
They call the rising sun.
I came out to these open mics and I've met all the right people. I know I've infiltrated the community in about 6 months. I've only been here since September. I know a lot of people already.
The sound in On the Rocks is wonderful, and everybody I talk to agrees, is when you're up on stage, you can hear yourself. It is fabulous. And when you're in the audience and you're listening, even if there are people talking, you can still hear the music, which for a musician is very, very nice.
The open mic night at On the Rocks is a popular venue for new and seasoned musicians such as Heath.
I am a career musician. I started professionally 30 years ago. I traveled all over North America as a professional backup musician. So I do backup vocals, I do lead guitar. In the late 1990s, I left the road as a professional musician, went to raise a family, and I opened a music store in Quesnel. We have a couple hundred students there and a staff of 8 people working that store.
Let's hold me fast, and these chains are around me.
Henry's introduction to performing was a lengthy process.
Well, I've always enjoyed music and listened to music. I mean, back from when I was a kid. And that was back in the 60s, and it was the Beatles and the Stones and the British Invasion. And the best. It was the best.
All I listened to.
And so music has always been a part of my life in that way. And when I was 16, 17-year-old, all of my friends were musicians. But back then, like, there was a band that used to practice above the garage at my parents' place. So I was around music a lot, but whenever I'd pick up a guitar and play, they'd just laugh. So there was a deep teenage traumatism that prevented me from ever picking up a guitar until 10 or 15 years ago.
I watched you at the pool, slowly undress, put your towel on St. Augustine and lay down and rest.
And the Peace region has been a vital component to encouraging his musical talent. While living in France, he made a visit to Quebec and received a phone call that would change his living situation drastically.
I was in Montreal for 2 weeks visiting my son, and while I was there, a guy I know in Grand Prairie phoned me up and he said, "Would you like to come out and manage the bookstore I have?"
He then made the move to the energetic city.
And so I decided to stay in Fort St. John and open up Headspace.
And what's Headspace all about?
Headspace is a bookstore in the front and a head shop in the back.
So Headspace by day, musician by night. Heath and Henry are in agreement that this is the most encouraging environment for new performers.
So my experience with the open mics. Well, one of the things when I first started attending the open mics that I really thought, or the open mic that I really thought was unusual, because I've been around a lot, is that in Fort St. John here, they're very open and very encouraging. A lot of young people who are just getting started, they're very wet behind the ears, but they're having fun, right? And they get up and they do their 3 songs, and everybody's very encouraging, and you watch these people grow. Now, at the same time, there seems to be a pocket of professional musicians like myself up in this area of the world too. And we seek each other out through these things, and we've had some fantastic musical moments.
It is all-encompassing, and that there are people of all ages. I mean, if you see there's Alistair Stone, which are kids fresh out of high school, and then there are people my age, and they're all ages in between. And in terms of styles of music, it ranges from obviously country up here, but you got the rock and you got roots, and you got DJs that are doing the techno and other stuff. So it encompasses all ages, all genres of music, and everybody. What I find is there's not a lot of ego.
I think what's really neat here is that everybody's so encouraging to the young people, but I also know that I could throw together a professional backup group immediately. If someone like when Sean Hogan came through, Craig Brooks and myself played with Sean Hogan. And I mean, Sean Hogan's got 17 videos on CMT. You know, he's a top 10 songwriter. This is not a small thing.
The two cannot say enough about the abundance of talent in the energetic city.
Some really great young bands here. There really are some young rock bands for up and coming. Alistair Stone comes to mind. There are also, there are just all kinds of bands based out of this area. Right now I'm watching, Quincy. They're in Europe right now. They're in Europe right now. And also, of course, you have Twin Peaks, who are being nominated for some awards. You don't see him much, but there's a fella around town named Dave Tolley who does drum lessons, of course. And Dave is, he's a Berkeley-trained drummer. So I don't know if Berkeley means much to most people, but that is the jazz college, university, period. Berkeley and Boston, that's it. If you've gone to Berkeley. Also, there's another sort of a little subgroup. There's Gid Hampton, Gid and Betty Ann, right, from the Cultural Center. And again, Gid is an outstanding folk musician. Oh, he doesn't call it folk, he's a roots. He's an outstanding roots musician, right? The fellas from the Ramblers is another local band. They do a lot of cover tunes and stuff, and those guys are around all over the place, and there's so many.
And what is up for these musicians in the future?
Just improving my skills as a musician. For me, though, music is more about sharing and give and take, and so developing my skills in that area so I can just sit down whenever there's a group of people and have something as small as it might be to contribute.
For me with music, just more of the same, you know. I never stop making music, ever. I play 2 hours every morning, religiously, like other people would do yoga or whatever. I get up and play my guitar for 2 hours, and that's usually studying. So as far as the future, who knows what could happen? I get phone calls, and if I get the right phone call, I would go.
I can't express how cool of a community that this is, that we have so many people.
And we've had some great experiences, and we got to thank Tamara and the people who are on the rocks for putting this together and giving us a place to express ourselves and giving you a place to come and see some things that you wouldn't see anywhere else. So thank you to On the Rocks. They're great people.
And if you're one of those people that's maybe singing at home in the shower, playing your guitar in your bedroom, but really want to get on stage and have an audience, On the Rocks Wednesday nights is the perfect place to try it out. And if you have a great upcoming event, or if you know an amazing person in the Peace region, I would love to hear from you. Please shoot me an email. It's emoyes@astral.com. Now stay tuned. Your local news is up right now. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll catch you back here next Thursday night at 5:30 p.m.
CJDC TV.